The human colony on the edge of the galaxy was small, quiet, and full of hard-working people. They lived among dry hills, silver-blue rivers, and a sky filled with two suns that painted the land with bright gold. Ships came rarely, so when a massive alien vessel appeared in the sky, every colonist looked up in awe. Adam, a young human engineer, stood in the middle of the colony square with grease still on his hands from repairing a water pump. He was simple, not a soldier, not a leader, but the one who kept machines alive when they broke down. He was used to quiet days filled with tools, engines, and dusty air. But this day was different. The alien vessel landed gently, shaking the ground as dust rose into the air. It was shaped like a silver crescent with glowing lines running across its surface. The colonists gathered near the landing zone. From the vessel stepped tall figures with graceful movements. Their skin carried a faint shimmer, as if lit by hidden light. Their eyes were large and bright, reflecting the world like polished mirrors. They wore long robes of woven metal threads that shone under the suns. These were not warriors. They looked like diplomats, envoys, or nobles. Among them was someone who stood out. A young woman with golden eyes brighter than the rest, wearing a crown that looked like flowing light. She carried herself with dignity, but her steps showed curiosity as she looked around at the human colony. The people whispered her name after hearing it from the translator. She was Princess Myra, daughter of the alien ruler. The colony leader, an older woman named Rosa, stepped forward to greet the visitors. She welcomed them politely, but soon there was a problem. The alien translator device, which was supposed to connect their language to human speech, flickered and sparked. Their words came out broken, cutting in and out. Confusion spread as both sides struggled to communicate. Rosa quickly turned to Adam. "Can you fix it?" she asked. Adam, still wiping grease from his hands, nodded. "I'll give it a try." He was led inside the alien vessel where the translator core was kept. The chamber was filled with glowing symbols and humming crystals. To Adam, it was like stepping into a dream, but he focused on the work. Myra herself stood beside him, watching silently as he opened the device. She was tall, graceful, and serious. Her golden eyes studied every move he made. Adam felt nervous under her gaze. He worked quickly, replacing a burnt-out connection with a spare part from his own toolkit. The machine buzzed, then gave a steady hum. Words began to form clearly in both human and alien tongues. The translator worked again. Myra tilted her head and spoke through the device. "You fixed it fast." "Impressive." Adam smiled awkwardly. Machines are easier to deal with than people. For the first time, Myra gave a small smile. It was faint, but it carried warmth. Adam, trying to lighten the heavy silence, decided to make a little joke. He thought humor could cross any boundary. So with a grin, he said, "You'd make a cute wife." The word slipped out casually, as if he was speaking to a friend. He expected her to laugh or maybe frown at his odd sense of humor. But what happened next silenced the chamber. Myra froze. Her smile vanished. Her golden eyes widened, fixed directly on him. For a long moment, no one moved. Adam felt his heart pound in his chest. He thought maybe she was offended. He opened his mouth to explain, but before he could, Myra spoke clearly through the translator. "I accept." The word echoed through the chamber. The alien guards standing nearby straightened. The human representatives outside, who heard through the open channel, fell into shocked silence. Adam's face turned pale. He blinked, trying to process what just happened. He stammered. Wait. No. That was a joke. I didn't mean, but Myra interrupted, her voice calm yet firm. You gave a vow. I accept. Her words carried weight. Her people whispered among themselves. To them, it was not light-hearted. In their culture, a vow spoken clearly, especially in front of witnesses, was binding. A proposal of union was sacred. Once given, it was a thread that tied honor, family, and even peace between worlds. Adam looked around helplessly. The alien guards were watching him with unreadable expressions. The translator buzzed softly, carrying his every word. Rosa, standing behind him, looked alarmed but said nothing. She knew the seriousness of offending another culture. Myra stepped closer. She was taller than Adam, and her golden eyes seemed to shine like fire. Yet her voice was not angry. Do not fear. I am not insulted. You have chosen me, and I will honor it. Adam raised his hands. I didn't choose anything. It was just humor. Humans joke sometimes. It means nothing serious. Myra blinked slowly, as if trying to understand. Among my people, words are never empty. A vow is life itself. Perhaps among humans, this is different. But if you speak to me, you must know the weight of your voice. Her calm tone made it worse. She was not offended. She was sincere. She believed fully that Adam had given her a vow. And by accepting, she had bound them in the eyes of her people. The news spread quickly through both camps. The princess had accepted a human's vow. Rumors grew fast, carried from one mouth to another. Some aliens whispered that this was destiny, a union that could unite two species. Others saw it as strange and dangerous. Among the humans, confusion reigned. Some laughed at the absurdity, but others grew nervous. Peace with this powerful alien race might now depend on Adam. Adam sat in his small room later that night, staring at the stars. He had lived a quiet life fixing machines, never seeking greatness. Now, because of one careless joke, he was tied to an alien princess. His words had started something he could not undo. He remembered Myra's eyes, bright and steady, when she said I accept. There had been no doubt in her face. He buried his head in his hands. What have I done? He whispered. Outside, the alien vessel glowed under the twin suns. Princess Myra stood on the balcony, looking down at the colony. Her expression was unreadable. But in her heart, she had already decided. She would not turn away from the vow. She believed it was fate, and she intended to see it through. The human who had spoken with careless humor was now bound to her. And in the days to come, that bond would change not only their lives but the future of both species. The colony square was no longer filled with quiet whispers. By morning, it had become a storm of voices. Humans gathered in groups, arguing about what had happened the night before. Some laughed nervously, calling it a misunderstanding that would be cleared up soon. Others were afraid, whispering that Adam had tied the fate of their colony to an alien princess without meaning to. Adam walked through the crowd with heavy steps. People stared at him as if he had grown wings or horns. Children pointed at him. Some men slapped his back, joking, "Prince Adam." Others looked at him with anger, as if he had doomed them. He wanted to disappear, to crawl back into his workshop where machines made more sense than people. At the landing site, the alien vessel stood like a shining mountain. The door opened, and the alien delegation walked out in formation. They moved with grace, their robes glowing faintly under the suns. At the front walked Princess Myra, her golden eyes calm but firm. Behind her came the council of elders, tall figures whose voices carried weight among their people. Rosa, the human leader, stepped forward to meet them. Her face was tight with worry. Adam was brought beside her, even though he wished to run far away. The two sides faced each other in tense silence. Then Myra spoke through the translator. "The vow was given," she said. "I accepted. Now the council will decide how this bond must be honored." The alien elders nodded in agreement. Their leader, an old figure with silver skin and eyes like molten stone, raised his hand. "Among our people, a vow of union cannot be broken without shame. To speak such words before witnesses is to create a bond that ties families, clans, and even nations. If the human breaks it, then he insults the royal house. Such insult may lead to war." Adam felt his stomach drop. He wanted to shout that it had been a joke, nothing serious, just words thrown into the air. But the weight of the council's voices pressed down on him. He saw Rosa's face, pale with fear. The colony could not survive war with a starfaring empire. His careless words now carried the burden of hundreds of lives. Rosa stepped forward carefully. "We humans did not know your customs. Our humor is different." Adam spoke without knowledge. "Surely this can be forgiven." The elder tilted his head slowly. "Ignorance does not erase insult. But perhaps there is another path." He turned to Myra. "If the princess herself accepts this bond as true, then we must honor her decision. She alone holds the right to choose." All eyes turned to Myra. The air grew still. Even the wind seemed to stop. Myra stood straight, her robe flowing around her. She looked at Adam, and her golden eyes softened just slightly. "I accept," she said again, her voice strong. "Not only because of custom." The human spoke with courage. "None among my people have dared speak to me so openly." His words were not polished. They were not wrapped in ceremony. They were simple and direct. "That is why I choose to honor them." The alien council bowed their heads in respect. The humans gasped. Adam felt his knees weaken. He wanted to argue, to tell her she was wrong, that she was misunderstanding everything. But the way Myra looked at him made his voice freeze. She was not forcing him. She was not angry. She was simply choosing. After the meeting, Adam was brought aboard the alien ship. The inside was vast, filled with glowing walls and smooth corridors. Every step echoed as if the ship itself was alive. Myra walked beside him, calm as always. Guards followed at a distance, silent and watchful. "Why are you doing this?" Adam asked at last, his voice trembling. Myra turned her head slightly. "Because you spoke without fear. All my life, people have spoken to me with bows, with rehearsed words, with hidden goals. You looked at me and spoke from your heart. Whether it was humor or not, it was true in its courage. That is why I accept." Adam rubbed his forehead. "But it was a mistake. I didn't mean it. In human culture, joking does not mean marriage." Myra studied him closely. "Then in your culture, words can be empty. That is strange to me. But your actions will show your truth. We will see who you are." Adam sighed. "I'm just a mechanic. I fix broken things. I'm not a prince or a leader. I can't carry the weight of this." Myra's golden eyes softened again. "Perhaps that is why fate chose you. A simple man is harder to corrupt than a prince. You may see this as a mistake, but I see it as a chance. And I do not believe in chance. I believe in purpose. Her words struck something in him. He wanted to argue more, but his throat tightened. Deep inside, he knew there was no easy way out. Back on the colony, debates raged. Some humans feared the bond would chain them to alien rule. Others hoped it would bring protection and trade. A group of hot-headed settlers even shouted that Adam should refuse and risk war. Rosa silenced them, reminding them that survival was more important than pride. On the alien side, not everyone supported Myra's choice. Some elders whispered that a human was not worthy of royal blood. A faction of young warriors muttered that Myra was making a mistake, that she should marry within her own kind to keep the bloodline pure. But Myra stood firm. She did not bend to their doubts. That night, Adam was given a guest chamber aboard the alien ship. He sat on the glowing bed, staring at the walls that pulsed faintly with energy. His thoughts were heavy. How could one careless joke turn into this? He closed his eyes and thought of the colony, the faces of people who depended on peace. If he refused, many could die. If he agreed, his life would never be his own again. Far away, in her private chamber, Myra stood before a mirror of liquid crystal. She removed her crown and let her hair flow around her shoulders. For the first time in years, she allowed herself a small smile. She whispered softly to herself, "He spoke to me like I was not a princess, but a person. That is why I will not let go." The stars outside the ship glimmered like silent witnesses. The bond between human and princess had been sealed, not by ceremony but by a joke that became fate. And though Adam still fought against it in his heart, the path ahead was already set in motion. The alien ship carried Adam high above the colony, past the clouds and into the endless black of space. Through a large window, he saw the stars stretch across the horizon. For most humans, this view would have been breathtaking, but Adam felt only a heavy weight in his chest. His life had changed in a single moment, and he had no idea where it was leading. Princess Myra walked beside him with quiet confidence. She showed him through long glowing halls, past walls that hummed with living energy. To her, this ship was home. To Adam, it was a cage of light. Finally, they entered a grand chamber filled with alien art, flowing metal sculptures, and glowing panels that displayed their history. Myra stopped before a mural of stars and battles. She turned to Adam, her golden eyes steady. "You must understand who we are," she said. "My people built our strength through honor and tradition. For us, a vow is more than sound. It is the breath of the soul. If you walk away from what you said, my people will see it as betrayal." Adam crossed his arms, his voice tense. "But to me, it was only a joke. I never thought it meant anything serious. Humans talk like that all the time. You cannot build a life on something said without meaning." Myra studied him quietly. "Perhaps humans treat words lightly. But here, your words carry the weight of our future. The council has already begun preparations. You are now part of our story whether you wish it or not." Adam turned to the mural. It showed figures locked in battle, ships clashing across the stars. His stomach tightened. "I never wanted to be part of a story. I only wanted a quiet life, fixing machines. I am not a hero, not a prince, not anyone important." Myra's expression softened. "That is why I trust you more than anyone. You are not hungry for power. You are not blinded by rank. You spoke to me like I was not a princess but a person. That truth is rare. And truth is stronger than ceremony." Her words confused him, yet something in them felt honest. He looked at her golden eyes and found no trick, no mockery. She believed every word she said. Back on the colony, fear and excitement spread like fire. Some settlers cheered the thought of being tied to a powerful alien empire. Others were furious, believing Adam had put them in danger. Rosa tried to calm both sides, but tension was rising. At night, groups of colonists argued in the streets. Some even threatened to leave the colony altogether. Meanwhile, among the aliens, not everyone accepted Myra's decision. A group of proud warriors spoke against the idea of a human joining their royal line. They believed it weakened their traditions. In secret chambers, they whispered about ways to undo this bond. Adam soon felt the weight of these divisions. As he walked the alien ship, he noticed how some guards bowed to him politely, while others glared with cold hostility. When he tried to eat with the crew, some welcomed him warmly, curious about human food and stories. Others turned their backs, refusing to sit near him. One evening, Myra invited Adam to share a meal in the royal chamber. The table was filled with glowing fruits, steaming dishes, and crystal cups that shone like fire. Adam picked at the food carefully, unsure of what was safe for him. Myra watched him, then pushed a plate toward him. "This is safe," she said. "It is a root from a farming world. It gives strength." Adam tasted it. The flavor was strange but good. He ate more slowly. Finally, he asked, "Why are you so calm about all this? I thought being a princess meant every choice was heavy. Yet you seem sure about me, even when I am not sure about myself." Myra's golden eyes softened again. "Because I have lived all my life surrounded by voices that tell me what to do. For the first time, I heard a voice that was not afraid. You did not kneel. You did not flatter. You spoke carelessly, yes, but also truthfully. That is why I believe this bond is not a curse. It is an opportunity." Adam lowered his eyes. He wanted to argue, but his heart felt conflicted. A part of him wanted to run back to the colony, hide in his workshop, and forget this ever happened. Another part of him felt drawn to the princess, not as royalty but as a person who carried a heavy burden like his own. The next day, Myra brought him to a training hall where alien warriors practiced with glowing staffs. The air rang with the sound of strikes and shouts. Myra explained, "My people do not test a partner with only words. They test with trials. The council has decided that you must prove yourself, not as a warrior but as a partner worthy of respect." Adam felt his chest tighten. "Trials? What kind of trials?" Myra answered calmly, "They will test your strength, your mind, and your loyalty. It will not be easy. Some of them want to see you fail." Adam groaned. "I am not built for this. I fix machines, not fight warriors." Myra placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. Her touch was steady, not heavy. "Strength is not always measured by how hard you strike. Sometimes it is measured by how you endure." In the shadows of the hall, alien warriors watched with sharp eyes. One whispered to another, "He will fail. Then the bond will break." Another replied, "Do not underestimate him. The princess chose him for a reason." That night, Adam lay awake in his chamber aboard the alien ship. He stared at the ceiling that glowed faintly with starlight. His mind turned over everything that had happened. He thought of the colony, of Rosa, of the people who looked to him with fear and hope. He thought of Myra, of her steady eyes and her unshaken belief. He whispered to himself, "I never asked for this. But maybe I cannot run anymore. Maybe I have to face it." Outside the ship, the stars burned brighter than ever, as if waiting to witness the trials ahead. The bond between human and princess had already shaken both worlds. Now it would be tested by fire. The alien ship drifted quietly above the human colony, glowing like a silver moon in the night sky. But peace was far away. Inside the ship, voices clashed in long halls and secret chambers. Outside, on the colony streets, humans argued in anger and fear. A single joke had grown into a storm that neither side could escape. Adam stood on the balcony of his chamber, staring down at the dusty ground far below. The colony looked so small, so fragile. He felt the weight of hundreds of lives pressing on his shoulders. Every word he spoke, every step he took, could change the future of two worlds. He had never asked for this, yet here he was, caught in the center of it. Behind him, the door opened with a soft hum. Princess Myra entered, her golden eyes calm as always. She wore a robe of silver light, the fabric flowing around her like water. She stepped beside him and looked down at the colony too. For a long moment, neither spoke. The silence between them was heavy but not hostile. At last, Adam broke the silence. They all look at me like I hold their lives in my hands. I never wanted this. I just wanted to fix machines and live quietly. Myra turned her eyes to him. Fate does not ask what we want. It gives us paths, and we must choose how to walk them. You are afraid because you did not plan for this. But sometimes the ones who do not seek power are the best to carry it. Adam sighed. I am no leader. If I fail your people, if I fail mine, what then? Myra's gaze softened. Then you stand up and try again. That is what honor means. Not perfection, but courage. Adam wanted to argue, but he felt a strange comfort in her words. Still, his heart was restless. Meanwhile, in the colony, Rosa struggled to keep peace among the humans. In the meeting hall, settlers shouted at one another. One group demanded that Adam go through with the bond, saying it would bring safety and trade. Another group called it madness, saying they should send him away and cut ties before it was too late. Rosa raised her hands to silence them. Her voice was firm. Do you not see? If we refuse their princess, we risk war. If we accept, we tie ourselves to a future none of us can see. Either way, the choice is not ours anymore. The aliens have given the decision to Adam, and only he can walk this path. The hall fell silent. The people exchanged uneasy looks. For the first time, they understood how much rested on Adam's shoulders. On the alien ship, the Council of Elders also debated. Some argued that the bond must stand, that it was a chance to unite two peoples. Others whispered that a human was unworthy of royal blood. One elder said sharply, "He is weak. He is not trained in our ways. He will fail the trial, and the bond will break. Then the shame will not be on us but on him." A group of young warriors supported this idea. They believed Adam's failure would free Myra from the bond. In secret, they planned to make the trial harder, to push him beyond his limits. If he fell, their traditions would be safe, and their pride unbroken. But Myra learned of these whispers. In a private meeting, she faced the elders with steady eyes. "You doubt him because he is human," she said. "But I have seen his heart. He does not seek glory or power. He only seeks honesty. That is what makes him worthy." The elders did not answer, but their silence carried doubt. That night, Myra visited Adam again. She found him sitting at a workbench in his chamber, tinkering with a small broken tool. The soft glow of alien light reflected on his tired face. "Even here, you fix things," she said. Adam looked up. "It helps me think. Machines are simple. They break, you find the problem, you fix it. People are not like that." Myra stepped closer. "But sometimes people need fixing too. Not with tools, but with patience." Adam gave a faint smile. "Do you really believe I can do this? That I can stand before your council and not embarrass myself?" Myra's golden eyes were steady. "Yes. Because you do not pretend to be more than you are. That is why you will surprise them." Adam lowered his gaze. "I don't know. The humans want me to accept for their safety. The aliens want me to fail to protect their pride. No one cares about what I want." Myra placed her hand gently on his arm. "Then tell me, Adam, what do you want?" He looked into her eyes and found no judgment there. After a long pause, he whispered, "I want to protect my people. I don't care about crowns or titles. I just want them safe." Myra nodded slowly. "Then that is your answer. Do the trial not for me, not for the council, not for tradition. Do it for them. Let your actions speak for your people." Her words lit a spark in him. For the first time, Adam felt a small piece of clarity. The next day, the council announced the trial would begin in 3 suns' time. The hall filled with witnesses from both sides, humans and aliens alike. The humans watched nervously, unsure of what would happen. The aliens stood tall, their faces unreadable, waiting to see if the human would prove himself or fail. Adam stood at the center, dressed in simple human clothes. He had no crown, no armor, no weapon. Just himself. Myra stood nearby, her presence calm and unshaken. She did not speak for him. She did not guide him. She simply watched with trust in her eyes. The elder raised his staff high. His voice echoed through the hall. "The trial will test strength, wisdom, and loyalty. If he passes, the bond stands in honor. If he fails, the bond breaks in shame." Adam's heart pounded in his chest, but he lifted his chin. He had no plan, no training, only a promise he had made in his own heart. He would face whatever came, not for glory but for the safety of his people. In the shadows, the young warriors whispered to one another. "He will not last. This human will fall before the second test." But in the light of the hall, Adam stood ready. His life was no longer his own. The trial had begun. The great hall of the alien ship was silent. Humans from the colony stood on one side, uneasy and tense. Alien nobles, warriors, and elders stood on the other, their shimmering robes glowing under the tall lights. At the center stood Adam, his heart pounding like a hammer inside his chest. He had never felt so small in his life, yet every pair of eyes in the room was fixed on him. An elder stepped forward, tall and silver-skinned, holding a long staff that glowed at the tip. His voice was deep and steady. "This human has spoken words that formed a vow. The princess has accepted. Now he must prove his worth. The trial will test strength, wisdom, and loyalty. If he passes, the bond stands in honor. If he fails, the bond breaks in shame." Adam swallowed hard. He was only a mechanic, not a warrior. His hands were used to tools, not weapons. But behind him, he could feel the eyes of his people, the colony settlers who depended on him. And in front of him stood Myra, her golden eyes calm and steady. She did not look afraid. She did not doubt. Somehow, that gave him strength. The elder raised his staff. The first test is strength. A section of the floor opened, and two alien warriors stepped out. They were tall and broad, carrying staffs that glowed with crackling energy. Their movements were sharp, trained, and deadly. Adam's stomach twisted. He could not fight them and win. One warrior stepped forward. He must face us. If he falls, he fails. Adam froze. His mind raced. He could not fight them. But then he remembered Myra's words. Strength was not only about striking. Sometimes it was about enduring. He stepped forward slowly, his hands empty. The warriors attacked. Their staffs swung with speed, glowing arcs cutting through the air. Adam ducked, rolled, and stumbled out of the way. He had no training, but he had instincts. He moved clumsily but quickly, avoiding direct hits. Each time he fell, he scrambled back to his feet. Each time he was knocked down, he stood again. Minutes turned into a blur of motion and pain. Sparks flew as the staff struck the floor around him. Sweat poured down his face. His chest burned with every breath. The humans in the crowd shouted in fear, but the aliens remained silent, watching closely. Finally, one warrior stopped. He lowered his staff and bowed slightly. He does not strike, but he does not yield. He has endured. This is strength. The other warrior lowered his weapon as well. The hall was silent for a moment, then the elder spoke. The first test is passed. Adam collapsed to his knees, his body aching, but relief washed through him. He had survived. Myra's eyes glowed with quiet pride. The elder raised his staff again. The second test is wisdom. The floor shifted once more, and a glowing table rose from the ground. Upon it appeared a puzzle of light and symbols, shifting and moving like living fire. The elder spoke. This is the puzzle of paths. Many have failed to solve it. It requires not force, but mind. He must open the way, or the trial ends. Adam stepped forward, wiping sweat from his brow. He stared at the puzzle. Symbols glowed in twisting patterns. At first it looked impossible. But then he noticed something. The patterns reminded him of circuits, of machines he had repaired back in the colony. He leaned closer, studying the flow. Some paths were broken, others bent out of line. He reached out and touched a glowing piece. It shifted under his hand, moving like a gear. His heart quickened. This was not so different from fixing a broken engine. Piece by piece, he adjusted the puzzle. The symbols clicked into place, forming pathways of light. The crowd leaned forward, whispering. Time passed, but Adam did not give up. He muttered softly to himself, just as he did when repairing machines back home. This connects here. That feeds there. Balance the flow. Keep the line steady. At last, the puzzle glowed brightly, and the symbols locked into place. A clear beam of light shot upward from the table, reaching the ceiling. The hall filled with a soft hum of energy. The elder lifted his staff high. The second test is passed. The humans cheered loudly, their voices echoing against the walls. Even some aliens nodded in respect. Adam stepped back, his chest rising and falling with relief. The elder's voice rang out again. The third test is loyalty. At his words, two guards brought forward a strange device, shaped like a glowing cage. Inside it shimmered a projection of two figures. Adam gasped. It showed Rosa, the colony leader, and Myra, the princess. The elder spoke. He must choose. One path saves the leader of his people. The other saves the princess of ours. He cannot save both. His loyalty will be revealed in his choice. The hall grew silent. Adam's blood turned cold. This was no simple test. It was a trap. If he chose Rosa, the aliens would see him as selfish. If he chose Myra, his own people would see him as a traitor. Either choice would break trust. Adam's mind raced. He could not sacrifice one for the other. Both were important, both carried lives on their shoulders. He thought of the colony, struggling to survive. He thought of Myra, strong yet burdened by tradition. His chest tightened. Then an idea sparked in his mind. He stepped forward. I refuse to choose. Gasps filled the hall. The elder frowned. You must. That is the trial. Adam shook his head firmly. No. Loyalty is not about choosing who to save. It is about finding a way to protect both. I will not sacrifice one for the other. If I must give my life, then I will. But I will not choose. The hall erupted in voices, some shouting in anger, others in shock. But Myra stepped forward, her golden eyes blazing with pride. You have heard him. His loyalty is not divided. It is whole. He will give everything for both sides. That is true loyalty. The elder raised his staff slowly. His face was unreadable, but after a long pause, he nodded. The third test is passed. The hall fell into silence again. Then, slowly, the aliens began to bow their heads. Even those who had doubted could not deny what they had seen. The human had endured pain, solved their puzzle, and chosen loyalty without fear. Adam stood trembling, his body weak but his spirit burning. He looked at Myra, and she gave him a steady nod. In that moment, he realized something had changed inside him. He was no longer just a man caught in a mistake. He was someone who had faced trials and refused to break. The elder lowered his staff. The trial is complete. The bond stands in honor. The humans cheered again, louder this time. The aliens bowed in respect. Myra stepped beside Adam, placing her hand gently on his arm. Her voice was soft, but strong enough for him to hear. You have shown them who you are. And you have shown me too. Adam met her golden eyes, and for the first time, he felt no urge to argue. The trial was over, but the path ahead was only beginning. The great hall of the alien ship had quieted. The trial was over, and Adam stood at its center, his body aching from exhaustion. Sweat and dust coated his clothes, but in his chest there was a new feeling, a mix of pride and uncertainty. He had passed every test, yet inside him, a storm of thoughts and emotions raged. Princess Myra approached slowly, her golden eyes calm but intense. The council of elders had already returned to their chambers, leaving the two of them alone. Adam's heart pounded as he tried to gather words, but none came. He had proven himself, yet a part of him could not shake the fear that he was still unworthy of the bond he had stumbled into. Myra's voice broke the silence. You have passed the trial, Adam. But I see that your mind is still troubled. Tell me, what burdens you now? Adam rubbed his forehead and looked down. I did not mean for any of this to happen. I spoke a joke, and now I am tied to you, to your people, to everything. I passed your tests, yes, but that does not change the fact that I am not ready for this. I am still just a human mechanic, not a hero, not a leader. Myra's golden eyes softened. You underestimate yourself. The trial was not only to prove your worth to my people. It was also to show you who you truly are. You think you are small, but your courage, your honesty, and your refusal to give in to fear have made you larger than you realize. Adam shook his head, uncertain. Even if I passed, my words were a mistake. I never meant to bind myself to anyone. I didn't even know what I was saying at the time. Myra stepped closer, her voice gentle but firm. Perhaps your words were careless, but your actions have proven their meaning. The trial has shown that even when you do not understand the full weight of your choices, your heart is strong. That is why I chose to honor your words. Adam looked into her eyes, searching for judgment or doubt, but found none. Instead, there was trust, understanding, and something deeper that he had not expected. It made him question his own feelings. He had thought of her as a symbol, a duty, a responsibility he did not want. Now he saw her as a person, not a princess, but someone brave, honest, and kind. Before he could respond, alarms sounded across the ship. Red lights pulsed along the walls, casting shadows in long streaks. Adam and Myra ran to the observation deck. Outside, they saw a small fleet of alien ships approaching at high speed. Their shapes were sharp, warlike, and unfamiliar. Adam felt his stomach tighten. They are coming for the princess, Myra said calmly, though her eyes were sharp. They do not agree with the bond. They want to take me back and undo everything. Adam's mind raced. He had survived trials, but he had never fought in real combat. He was not a soldier. Yet as he looked at Myra, standing tall with her calm determination, something inside him shifted. He could not let anyone harm her. Not after all she had done to trust him, not after all he had seen and learned about courage and loyalty. Myra turned to him. Adam, you do not have weapons. You cannot face them alone. Adam clenched his fists. I may not have weapons, but I have my mind. I know this ship, I know its systems, and I know how to protect both of us. I will not let them take you. Myra's golden eyes gleamed with a mix of surprise and admiration. Then we will do it together. The approaching fleet drew closer, firing beams that streaked across the void. Myra guided Adam to the control room, where the ship's panels glowed with energy and alien symbols. He quickly scanned the systems. With a few careful adjustments, he redirected power to shields, rerouted energy through defensive nodes, and adjusted the thrusters to outmaneuver the attackers. As the enemy ships fired, beams struck the shield and scattered into sparks of light. Adam felt the adrenaline rush through his body. He worked quickly, giving commands in human, and Myra assisted by manipulating alien controls with precision and strength. Together, they made the ship a moving fortress. One enemy ship broke formation and tried to board. Myra and Adam moved to the docking bay. The hall was filled with flashing lights and alarms. Adam noticed the control panels above the doors. With quick thinking, he triggered a magnetic lock that sealed the bay temporarily, buying them time. Myra's strength and speed amazed him as she coordinated the ship's defense, guiding humans and aliens alike to safety. In the midst of chaos, Adam realized that his feelings had changed. He was no longer thinking of Myra as a duty or obligation. He cared for her, genuinely. Her safety mattered to him more than his own life. He knew he would protect her at any cost. The enemy ships retreated after sustained resistance, unable to breach the shield or docking systems. The hall fell silent. Humans and aliens alike stared in awe at the duo who had defended the ship together. Adam's chest heaved from exhaustion, but he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Myra placed her hand on his shoulder. You have proven more than your worth today. Not only to my people, but to yourself. You have acted with courage, intelligence, and loyalty. That is why I stand by my choice. Adam looked into her eyes, no longer afraid, no longer hesitant. He felt a warmth in his chest that he had not expected. He had started this journey thinking he was trapped in a mistake, yet he had discovered something far more important. He had discovered his own strength and the depth of his feelings for her. He took a deep breath and spoke with conviction. I did not mean to say what I said at first, but I realize now that I am willing to stand by you. Not because of words or custom, but because I choose to. I choose to be with you. Myra's golden eyes lit up with joy. She smiled, not as a princess commanding obedience, but as someone sharing her heart. And I choose you, Adam. Not because of a vow or a trial, but because I believe in you. The two of them stood together, side by side, as the stars outside shone brighter than ever. The bond that had begun as a careless joke had grown into something real, forged through trials, danger, and courage. Adam had found his purpose. Myra had found her partner. And together, they were no longer just human and alien. They were a team, ready to face the challenges of two worlds united. The stars shone brightly over the human colony as the alien ship descended slowly, casting a silver glow across the hills. Word had spread quickly among the settlers, Adam had passed the trial. The humans gathered in the square, eyes wide with curiosity, hope, and awe. They had watched him grow from a quiet mechanic to a man who had faced impossible tests, defended an alien princess, and proven his loyalty and courage. Inside the ship, Adam and Myra prepared to address both worlds. The Council of Alien Elders had approved the union, though some still whispered doubts. Humans and aliens alike crowded the observation deck, waiting to witness history. Adam looked out at the faces of his people, and for the first time, he felt the weight of responsibility as well as the pride of achievement. Myra approached him, her golden eyes steady and kind. "Are you ready?" she asked softly. Adam took a deep breath. "I am. I know this is bigger than me, but I am ready to stand for both of our worlds." The doors opened, and a hush fell over the crowd. Myra stepped forward, her flowing robe of silver light shining under the suns. She held her head high, regal yet approachable. Adam followed, feeling the weight of every gaze upon him, human and alien alike. The elder who had overseen the trial raised his staff. "Witnesses from both worlds, the trial is complete. The human has proven his strength, wisdom, and loyalty. The princess has accepted the bond. Now, the union shall be made known in honor and respect." Myra stepped closer to Adam. "These past days have shown me courage, honesty, and heart. I have seen a human who does not seek glory, who does not demand power, but who acts with purpose and care. Adam, I accept you fully, not as a prize or obligation, but as a partner and friend." Adam felt his chest tighten. He stepped closer to her, taking her hand gently in his. "Myra, I did not plan this, and I did not expect it. But I have come to see that my choice is clear. I choose to stand with you, to protect you, and to honor what we have begun together. I do this because I want to, not because of duty or fear, but because I care for you and for both our peoples." A murmur ran through the crowd. Humans exchanged amazed looks, realizing that a simple man from their colony had stood among a mighty alien empire and earned respect. The aliens whispered among themselves, noting that their princess had chosen wisely. The elder raised his staff again. "Let it be known, the bond between human and princess is recognized in honor. May their partnership strengthen both worlds and bring peace, understanding, and prosperity. The words echoed through the hall. Adam and Myra looked at each other, their hands intertwined. For a moment, time seemed to pause. Outside, the suns shone brightly, painting the land in gold and silver. Both humans and aliens felt the weight and beauty of the moment. Then Myra spoke, her voice carrying across the deck. From this day forward, humans and aliens shall work together, learning from one another and protecting what we share. Let this bond be a symbol that understanding and courage can cross any boundary. Adam added, we may come from different worlds, speak different languages, and live under different skies. But our choices, our courage, and our hearts can unite us. We will face the future together. The crowd erupted in applause. Humans cheered, waving their hands and jumping with joy. Aliens bowed and nodded in respect, some even smiling openly. Rosa, standing among the humans, wiped a tear from her eye. She had watched Adam grow into a man worthy of trust, courage, and leadership. The elder who had doubted Adam stepped forward. I was wrong to question him. He has shown wisdom beyond expectation. This union will be remembered for generations. Adam and Myra stood together, feeling the pride and relief of the moment. The bond that had started as a careless joke had grown into something far greater: trust, respect, and partnership between two worlds. They knew challenges would come, but they had faced trials, danger, and fear and had stood strong together. That evening, the celebration continued on the alien ship and on the colony below. Humans and aliens shared stories, food, and laughter. Adam walked among them, no longer the quiet mechanic, but a man who had faced impossible tests and discovered strength he did not know he had. Myra walked beside him, proud and graceful, her presence a symbol of courage and hope. In a quiet moment, Adam looked at Myra. I never imagined this when I joked. I never thought a careless word could change everything. Yet here we are, stronger than either of us expected. Myra smiled softly. Words have power, Adam, but actions reveal the heart. You have shown me your heart. That is why I stand with you. Adam felt warmth in his chest, a mix of relief, pride, and something deeper. He realized that courage was not about never being afraid, but about standing firm despite fear. Loyalty was not about blind obedience, but about acting with care for those who depend on you. And love, he realized, was not about titles or vows, but about trust, respect, and choice. As the night deepened, stars filled the sky like diamonds. Humans and aliens watched together, sharing the wonder of the cosmos. Adam and Myra stood hand in hand, looking out at the horizon. Their bond was not a joke, not a mistake, but a living connection that would shape the future. From that day forward, humans and aliens worked together to build better lives, share knowledge, and explore the stars. Adam continued his work as a mechanic, now helping both humans and aliens understand the wonders of technology. Myra ruled wisely, guided by her heart and the partnership she had chosen. The story of the human who joked and the princess who accepted became a legend. It reminded everyone that courage could cross worlds, that honesty and loyalty mattered more than titles, and that even a simple choice could change the fate of many. Adam and Myra stood together, united not by duty, but by respect, trust, and a bond that had been tested by trials, danger, and the strength of their hearts. They had faced the impossible and had emerged stronger, showing that courage, understanding, and unity could overcome any challenge. The suns rose over the colony the next morning, golden light spilling across the hills. Humans and aliens walked together in harmony, their voices carrying laughter, stories, and plans for the future. Adam looked at Myra and smiled. Whatever comes next, he said, we face it together. Myra's golden eyes shone with pride and warmth. Together, she said. And as the stars continued to shine over two worlds bound by trust, courage, and heart, a new chapter began, one where humans and aliens would grow, learn, and explore side by side, inspired by a bond that started with a joke but became legend.